Salvete omnes, salvete amici. Nomen mihi est Decimus Aurelius Ingeniarius Praetor Australianus. Hello, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are watching us from in the world. You are watching the Roman Twitch channel brought to you by Nova Roma. I am Decimus Aurelius. It is fantastic to be here, to be on stream, and to be back for another year with the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2022. We're a little bit of a later start this evening, but that's okay. I was just making sure all my senators are ready and they're hip and they're excited, which they are, and we are now ready to go. So welcome to those who have watched last year's Republic of Rome board game broadcast in 2021. We've got most of our senators back from last year, at least 5 of our players, which is really good. So we've got some veterans there. And we have a new player joining us all the way from Germany, which is Appius Rufius Kerwis, who is joining us. But he is also an experienced player in this game. So everybody knows the rules more or less, which is great. So I'm really excited about this year. Hopefully our players this year will have a much better outcome than last year, where they were succumbed and overwhelmed by war. So we'll see how they go this year. They've all elected to start from the early Republic again through a grand campaign. So we're starting WBC Start with 1.07 living rule set, thanks to Alan Richborough, who does the rules updates. And this year, as a bit of a change as well, instead of using the Roll20 virtual tabletop, we're using Tabletop Simulator with a module produced by Appius Rufius and fellow Scott, who might be watching this stream a little bit later on. They've produced the base module for Republic of Rome here on TTS, and we're going to be using that, and I've added some things to that. Much cleaner, much simpler to use than Roll20. Right. I think we've done enough waiting. You've all been very patient in chat there. Yes, hooray. We've seen some subscriptions already. Thank you to Unknown Star. Good on you. And, of course, one of our Nova Roma senators subscribed with a Tier 1, 16 months straight now, George Tanos, user in chat there. So thank you very much already for the subs. Keep those coming in. Nova Roma certainly appreciates those, helping us with our living history and education around the globe. Right. We're just going to take a brief moment now to transition all of our cameras and microphones, bring everybody into the virtual tabletop. Don't go away. We'll be right back in about a minute. All right, we are now live here in the Tabletop Simulator virtual tabletop, the VTT. You should now be able to see all of my senators to my virtual left. And let's just do an audio checker of all my senators. Can I get all my senators to say salvete?
Salvete.
Salvete. It's good. I'm getting lots of nice clipping there. Fantastic. Lots of audio. So it's good. I've got good cameras, got video for everybody, and good audio. Excellent. We are now ready to start. Welcome. Now, I tell you what, folks, doesn't this virtual environment look much better than the old Roll20 setup that we had last year? I tell you what, I'm really excited for this year. As you can see, for those on stream or watching this on YouTube in the future, so much smoother, so much cleaner. You can see all of our players' cursors and where they're looking. All the tokens able to be moved like last year, except much easier. Definitely, I know that Marta Wedi is very happy with this new setup. Certainly much cleaner. So, look, we're all pretty experienced here. If you haven't played this game before and you're watching this either on Twitch or on YouTube in the future, go check out some of our videos from last year and some of our helpful guides that have got on the playlist on the Australia Nova Romana YouTube channel, and you can see how we go about playing this game. But for now, we're going to get started into the mortality phase, and up the top here, we actually keep a record of where we're up to with this little box at the top here, and I can highlight that for my players. Yeah, so we're now in turn 1 mortality phase. Now, this year we're using a slightly different aging rule. So instead of the Avalon Hills edition, which was quite complex and very detailed, we're using a slightly modified hybrid aging rule this year. Good, as the players are seeing, we're going to use this little elder token as necessary, but we're going to be drawing 2 mortality chits. And if the senators' numbers come up, then they get an elder token. And if they've already got one and their number comes up, then they will die. So it's like a 2-phase process instead of the 7+ under the rules from last year. Already I'm seeing the Roman graffiti come out. Let's keep that in bay. But first of all, let's do our aging. So let's say Tiberius Cornelius on our orange faction. If you would like to go ahead and draw 2 mortality chits and just place them right next door to our mortality draw box, and we'll see if there's any senators that will be aging at this stage. So first one is a draw 2, so that doesn't mean anything for us at this stage. And the second one is senator number 3. Now, who's got senator number 3?
Valerius, it's mine.
Aha, there we go. So Valerius. So Valerius is now going to become an Elder Senator, and he's going to pick up an Elder marker and place that on his card. Alrighty, there you go. And that's it, folks. We've done the aging. How much simpler is that? And now we can pick up those mortality shits, and I can do this one, and we're going to place those back in our bag for next one.
Consequences of being an Elder Senator again, please.
So thankfully, unlike last year, we've got no penalties for being an Elder Senator. So you'll recall last year, we wouldn't let Elder Senators leave Rome to either be a military commander or be a governor. We do not have that rule this year because of how many Elder Senators we could potentially get under this rule. So the Elder marker, all that's really notifying you is that senator is now at a greater risk of perishing through age in future mortality phases. And that's it. There are no other prohibitions whatsoever. So Valerius can still be Roman field consul and go to war. He can still be a governor. That is certainly not a problem at all. But that's a great question to ask so far.
You should respect your elderly people.
Yeah.
You know?
yes. Respect your elders. Yes, let's. So now that we've done the mortality phase here, let's take a step back and let's do quick introductions. Because, right, although many of you are known to some of our viewers, some of the new viewers will not know who some of you are. So let's go around the table if we can, and let's all just quickly introduce yourself by your Roman name, if you like, where you're from, and what you're. If you've got a faction name, feel free to talk about your faction name and anything else that you want to add of a Roman nature. So let's start with our temporary Rome consul, who was elected pre-game before we went live, which is furious. So let's have Marcus Decimus, please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Marcus Decimus. I'm a Queensland player here up in Australia. So we'll eventually be transitioning into a different time zone to everyone else soon enough. My experience with the game is I've had the physical board game. Most of my games previous to this experience has been more about drinks over a few mates. The game before usually roles involving every time you vote you had to have a shot. So maybe not necessarily as competitive as environment as it has been before, but it's something that I've definitely enjoyed, and I definitely enjoy the discussion, coming together, coming to solutions for issues, and the discussion portion of the game, and certainly the role playing aspect is quite amusing and fun as well.
Nice, thank you very much, Marcus Decimus Meridius. Let's go to the blue faction. You're next.
Hi everyone, I'm Ingeniarius Aurelius Ingeniarius, out from Australia. I'm a veteran of 2 years now, so this is my third. Though it hasn't really done us any good each time I played, so maybe I'm just bad luck, but I think we were all a bit last year. Other than that, I hold the ceremonial title of lictor for a governor here in Australia, which doesn't really mean much, but it sounds like a nice fancy title, so I like that. And yeah, I'm raring to get back into it, and let's win this time, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you to Aurelius Ingeniarius. All right, green faction, your turn.
Hi, I'm Quintus Octavius Gertius, and I am from Adelaide as well as Australia, like many other players here, and currently just good to be back. This is my third game overall of Republic of Rome, but it's going to be fun to play again.
Perfect. Thank you, Quintus Octavius. All right, yellow faction, over to you.
Yes, I'm Appius Rufius Servus from the faction of Luna. So my real name is Alexandre Hirsch from Germany. And it's my first time to play with this group here, Romanova group, right?
Yeah, and we're so pleased you were able to join us too.
Some
Very
games
exciting.
earlier with Scott, and Cyprian was the one who introduced me. He's also from Board Game Geek to Republic of Rome. Very graciously.
Great. Excellent. I'm liking having some international players, which makes it all the more fun, which is good. All right, thank you. All right, on to the orange faction.
I'm Tiberius Cornelius Jacobus, and extra special welcome to you, Appius. It is great to have you here, but also to welcome all to the returning players as well. It's terrific to be here again. I played last year. By the end of the season, I knew some of the rules, and I've since forgotten all of those. So back to square one.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tiberius
May
Cornelius.
I say something? Last
Yeah.
time, so I really enjoyed his speech, your speech. Your prosecution speech is very famous. Scott said, take a look at his speech, and that was really funny.
It
Oh,
was,
good. I'm glad it
was
fun.
good, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Excellent. All right, thank you. And finally, our Red Faction, over to you.
Hi, Marca Vedia Novella, also playing from Australia, Sydney. I really love the fact that you get to grow and evolve and do it over a longer period of time. It can be really satisfying.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good. It's great seeing the development, isn't it? Oh, it's good. We've now introduced all of our factions. That was a good idea from Poach Trout. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I keep forgetting that not everybody has met you before, but we do have some returning spectators as well. So but that's good. Okay, we've let's double check our cheat sheet, which I've nice conveniently placed over the side here. We don't have any wars to exhaust yet. We don't have any requirements for an imminent war activation yet, and we've done our aging senators. So now we get to move on to our revenue phase. So we'll click this little button over here, and we now come into the revenue phase. Now, what I love about this module that the guys have put together is we get to use our new revenue calculator here, which is fantastic. So I've already briefed my players on what to do here. They essentially will go through on each of their. Oh, hang on, we lost it. Did somebody press the? There we go. Let's bring that back up. There we go. Let's try that again. So each of the players will go through and add how many senators they've got, how many knights they've got. Nobody's got any knights yet, so that's nice and easy. They'll tick the box that they've got their leader assigned because everybody has assigned their leader prior to our start. Over here, I'm going to look after the state side for the time being. So we do have 4 legions, which is the normal start for the early republic. And hello to Naos Cornelius, who's watching on. He says, "Good luck to the players. It's very nice to see this great educational game in action. Real Nova Roman spirit." We don't have any land bills, and we don't have any active wars, droughts, or evil omens. We are going to be employing the Pontifex Maximus rule and provincial wars, but we don't have either of those to worry about yet. So it's going to be a pretty simple revenue to begin with. And when all the players are ready, they'll then tick their box on the far right-hand side of the revenue calculator, and that will signify that they've finished updating their boxes here. And the players, of course, will be selecting the concessions from under the provinces and concessions section as well. So as we can see, the green faction has tax farmer 1. We can see that orange faction there with Tiberius Cornelius has tax farmer 5, and Appius Rufius has tax farmer 6. And so they're the only 3 concessions out on the field, I think. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3. As part of the 4th concession.
May I remind the Honourable Senator Numerius Aurelius that he has to choose his Egyptian land grain?
That's right. I was wondering who'd forgotten their concession. So Numerius Aurelius, you'll need to select your particular concession on the right-hand side there. Perfect, which is Egyptian grain. Now, depending on whether you're choosing to use the graft or not, you'll tick that box. And I'm judging at the moment, Numerius Aurelius, you're not taking the graft for the Egyptian grain?
Not even sure what that means.
Take your time. Have a read of the concession. I'll bring that up for all the other players at home to have a look at. So you can see here, there's a voluntary × 2 grain concession, income and -2 popularity if there's a drought in effect.
Okay.
Is there a drought in effect?
No, so that's what I was going to ask. I think you can only do this if there is a drought. Is that everybody else's interpretation?
Yeah, that's
the correct.
Well.
Yeah. So nonetheless, it doesn't look like you can take that graft at this point in time, but at least for future references, that is an option for him when we have a drought. So let's double check. Everybody should have 3 senators, which is the case. Everybody has their leader assigned, which is good. And we have 4 concessions on the board and 4 selected. And everybody's ticked the box, and I'll tick the ready box over here because we've got 4 legions. Yep. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on the generate revenue button. And now we've generated the revenue for everybody. So you guys know how this works now. You've got your individual yellow currency money markers for each of your senators. So you can see your totals along the top there. So, for example, the red Aquila faction gets 5 talents. Orange Corona gets 7. The blue Palmer gets 10. Because of the nice concession over there. And of course, you guys can distribute that amongst your senators and your faction treasuries. and just make sure that your numbers correspond. And when you've finally finished doling out all of your money, then make sure you tick your box at the bottom of your section. And if somebody's really quick, they can nominate, let everybody else know, and you can update the state treasury, which is getting 92 talents, minusing the cost of the legions, of course. So we can see over here the annual revenue, which is 100 talents. The cost of the 4 legions that we currently have in play is 8, so that's being deducted from the total. No fleets, no land bills, no active wars. So that's a positive 92 talents going towards the state treasury, which is really good. And I can see, good, Quintus Octavius is already working that for us. Fantastic. Brilliant. Quite quick. So, yep, just make sure everybody double check your totals, that your accumulation between your senators and your faction treasuries adds up to your totals. And when you are finished, make sure you tick your box. And look, you can even see the breakdowns of what your concessions gave you, because all the rolls are done for you, which is great. So no need to roll for Pontifex Maximus, no need to roll for the concessions or anything like that. It all automatically calculates that for you in the back end. So, for example, under the Orange Corona faction, we can see Tax Farmer 5 gave him 2 talents. The Yellow Luna faction got 2 talents from there. Tax Farmer 6. Egyptian Grain gave a nice 5 over here. So you simply click on your yellow money tokens. So you get to distribute your money as you wish. So yeah, we're not using physical talents anymore. We're using the yellow talent markers that are on your card. So if you press on the markers, you can change it. So if you look at Aurelius, for example, here, right, and you can click on his yellow marker. So that's how you'll distribute your money now. So take your time, distribute your money as you wish. That's it. And then, yep, so you've got 5 to spend. So if you want all 5 on Aurelius, that's perfectly fine. And you're happy with that. And then you can, good, you've got your box ticked, and I've ticked the one for the state. So everyone else has distributed their funds. Everybody has double-checked their money references. Everyone happy? Well, I guess everyone is, because you've ticked your box. So that's the signal that we're all good to go. So we're going to shut that off now. Very good. Excellent. Let's go back to our cheat sheet over here on the right-hand side. So we've done revenue, we've done distribution. We've even, province development will also get handled for us by that process as well, which is good. State revenue is done. We now get to talk about contributions for those that would like to do those. So let's go around the room like we normally would, starting with the Rome Consul, highest ranking available official or officer. What's the term that the new rulebook uses now? Is it officer or official? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And then we go clockwise, which is essentially following the colours around the board here. So let's go over to Marcus Decimus. Would you like to make any contributions to the state treasury at this point in time?
No contributions at this point in time, thank you.
Very good. Demirus Aurelius?
No, thank you.
Quintus Octavius?
No, thank you.
Appius Rufus?
Me neither.
Demirus Cornelius?
No, thank you.
Marco Edia? All right, so everybody has knocked back the opportunity for state revenue contributions. Debts we've already taken care of as well, which is quite nice. Local forces is something that we'll do independently or can essentially do during that revenue step in the future when we do get the opportunity to deal with local forces and provinces. And then, of course, that calculator will also tell us the governors that they need to adjust their dials as well. So pretty much nearly everything is taken care of during the revenue phase by that brand new calculator, which is great. Hello to or salve to Crimwald, who's tuning in, first time catching the yearly game live, and very glad that we're using the TTS mod. Yes, I tell you what, we're loving it already. It's just so much quicker, particularly with the tools that Scott and Alex have put together, the authors behind this mod, which is fantastic. So there you go, folks. We've done with the revenue phase. Let's go on and move on to the forum phase. Checking the box. We are here, forum phase, and if we have a look at our cheat sheet again, we see we're doing the standard initiative check. So you'll recall, players, that we're going to roll 2d6, and the key number that we're looking for is a 7. If we hit a 7, we're going to be pulling events out of our event deck. Checking the roll, of course. If not, then you're going to be going through the standard 4-step process of potential persuasions, your night collections, sponsoring of games, and then finally any faction leader changes that you wish to do. And then once everybody has done their initiatives, then we'll go put Rome in order just before we hit the population phase. So, again, starting with our temporary Rome consul, we're going to get him to roll his 2d6. He's going to pop it out there, I see. Very good. And he is going to roll an 8, which is not an event card. So you get to draw from the draw pile, sir. Remember, a quick click and drag. And put that into your hand. And I'll let you assess that, whether it's a white or red text card or black text or red text card.
It is a white. Well, it's a card I keep in my hand.
Yep, cool. Yep, and I think I've verified that as well. Cool. So now let's do the rest of your checks for you. So would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
Not at this stage, thank you.
Sure. Let's talk about knights. Who would you like to have a go at rolling for a knight?
I'll have my leader roll for a knight.
All right. Go ahead and either grab a physical or a virtual die, your choice, to roll for a knight.
I will be putting 5 talents towards the persuasion of a knight.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Okay, go ahead. So pretty much that's a guarantee, right? You almost don't need to roll, but we...
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll see you deduct your 5 there on the talent marker. Very good. And then you can update your square counter to be 1. Excellent. Well done. So now Alias, Senator 14, now has a knight. Excellent. Would you like to be sponsoring any games? Probably not. You probably spend all your money on knights. Any faction leader change for you today, sir?
Not today. I'll just take this opportunity to also ask Quintus Octavius. I've just sent a message in-game for you to have a look at, sir.
All right. Very good. Players already starting to make deals already. I love to see that. Let's move on to player number 2 for the forum phase. Numerus Aurelius, go ahead and roll your 2 die. And let's see if we get a 7 or not. You can roll physical or virtual, your choice. All right, there comes the 2 die, and we're going to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's not a 7. Please go ahead and do a quick draw from the draw pile in the center of the board there, and place that in your hand. That's it, and then and just check whether it's a forum card or a faction card.
It's a black text card.
Go ahead and drop that in the forum or somewhere on the board, and we're all going to have a bit of a gander at it.
Just having a look. Where's the best spot to drop it? I guess I'll just drop it.
It is the Punic Wars.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. All right, I'm going to bring this up on screen for everybody at home. We are looking at the Syrian War, and of course, we have the armaments icon, which means what, Senators?
It will be imminent war.
It'll be active straight away.
Active? Okay.
Yep. So that little armaments icon next to the date, 192 to 189 BC. This is a fully active war straight away. Thankfully, the strength isn't too much, so it's a 6 strength war. Requires 2 fleet support, so make sure when you guys consider that you throw some naval vessels in there, and then you got your danger numbers 16 and 15. Holy dooly, it's worth a whopping 45 talents. You guys see that? That's phenomenal. Yep. Wow, that's
easy money.
That's big
easy money.
That's big money. And
no, we don't say that.
It doesn't create any provinces, which is disappointing, but that's okay. But the money itself is fantastic. So being an active war, we're going to drag that to the active wars box. I'll do that on everyone's behalf for the moment. So that's over there. And so that you guys will probably need to consider that this turn, otherwise it will become unprosecuted. Good. All right, let's finish off your turn then, Numerus Aurelius. Any persuasion attempts for you today?
No, thank you.
All right, who's going for a knight?
I guess old Manlius will.
All right, go ahead. Any money from him?
Yeah, take 2 talents from him.
All right, he's going to spend all 2 of his talents there. Good, I saw that deduction. Fantastic. Go ahead and roll your single die. And you're going to get a 2. That's unfortunate. Unlucky. All right. Would you like to sponsor any games today? Probably not. And any faction leader change for you?
No.
No, very good. All right, that will conclude your turn. Quintus Octavius, you know the deal. Fire away your 2 dice. You are set and ready. There's 1 die. Throw 1 more for me. 1 and
Didn't want to get the second one.
6. So I'm going to take
7.
that. So that'll be 7. So we've got an event. So let's go ahead and it's 3 dice now you need to roll. So first of all, I'm going to zoom the view. We want to find our random events table, which is up here. So go ahead and roll 3 dice for me. 3d6.
13.
13, which is going to be your favorite, guys. Allied Enthusiasm. That's awesome.
That's
a good
great.
one. All right, so who would like to? I'll let Quintus Octavius. If you'd like to go to our event deck and see if you can find the Allied Enthusiasm card, you can see them over here. That's it. You might have to manually pull them out, see if you can find it. Or we'll zoom in and help you have a look. So that's Trial of Eris, Storm at Sea. What is it? What is it? One that we're looking for again? Yes, Allied Enthusiasm.
Allied
Okay,
Enthusiasm.
let's have a look. Here we go. It's probably the bottom one, isn't it? Let's have a look. Is it there? It would be funny if it's like the only card we're missing.
Great.
We're missing a card, are we, folks?
It might be.
I think we are. So we'll have to add that a little bit later. But you've got the physical deck there, do you, Decimus?
Allied Enthusiasm, we do have it.
Where?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there it is.
there
There
it
it
is.
is. Hiding.
Okay,
Got it. We got it.
Ah, perfect. All right, there we go. So somebody can reassemble the event deck. It was hiding. Cool. So I'm just going to bring this over to the forum for the moment. We'll pick that up. There we go. And I'll zoom that in for the people at home. The state receives 50 talents in the revenue phase. So next revenue phase, folks, you're going to get some more money. So I'll tell you what, if you guys defeat this Syrian war and then get this Avalon Enthusiasm, you guys are going to be plussed up to the max. I'm envisioning a very large army going forwards here. It's going to be fantastic. All right, let's finish off the turn for Quintus Octavius. Quintus Octavius, any persuasion attempts for you today? What was that? Was that a no?
That was a no.
Okay, cool. And who's going to be having a go for a night today?
We'll have Julius.
Julius is going to have a night. Any money expenditure?
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's fire away. Looking for a 6. And it's a 5. Oh, that was close. Unlucky there. I'm assuming you're not going to be sponsoring any games. Any faction leader change
I
for
will
you
not
today?
be.
All
That would be a
good?
no as well.
Perfect. All right, let's go across to Appius Rufius. 2 dice when you are ready, good sir. Let's see if we get a 7 or not. You can roll whatever you like. 1, 2, and we're going to have a 2, 3. 3, so you go ahead and draw your card, throw that into your hand, whether it's a forum or a faction card. Take your time, have a look. All right, I see a card coming out here. It is another war card. We've got the second of the Illyrian Wars. Thankfully, another low-strength war, which is good. And again, we have an armaments icon, so it is also becoming active straight away. Only worth 10 in the kitty if we come good on that one. 2 fleet support, but this one will not immediately, but it will eventually create a provinces for us once we defeat the first Illyrian War. But noting that if you guys defeat this war first, the first war is considered a type of revolt, right? Because you defeated the last war in a series, right? So
and we don't get any money for that one, do we?
Yeah, that's right. You won't get any money for the first war, but it will create a province because you'll end up having met the conditions for the card. So, see Tiberius Cornelius with your hand there. If you want to drag that to the active wars box for us, that would be fantastic. Brilliant. All right, let's finish off the turn for Appius Rufius. Any persuasion attempts for you today, sir?
No persuasion attempt.
Would you like to try and persuade anybody?
No persuasion.
Certainly. Anybody rolling for a night today?
Emilius.
Emilius going to roll for a night. He's not going to spend any money, but you are going to get to roll the die for free. Let's look for a 6. You get a 5. Unlucky there. I'm assuming you're not going to be spending any money on games. Would you like to take your calculator?
May I remind everyone to adjust their concession cards in order to show the corrupt side?
Great point. Yes. Make sure you show your concessions. Showing the corrupt portion of your cards. That is correct. Great pickup, sir. I like it. Everybody fiddling with the height order. Yes, it's a little bit fiddly at times, perhaps. There you go. That's it. Good. All right. And that will conclude the turn for Appius Rufius. Let's go across now to Tiberius Cornelius. Tiberius Cornelius, 2 dice when you're ready, sir. You are going to get a 12. So that's not a 7. So you get to draw a card from the deck, sir. A quick draw from the draw deck. Put that in your hand. You're looking for a forum or a faction card.
Why don't I keep myself? I think. Hang on. You tell me.
That one there is a black text card, so that'll end up in the forum.
Oh, right. Okay.
There we go. So cool. So we have Achilles, I think we're looking at Achilles, yes. Senator number 12. You guess I'm able to be persuaded, so I guess that begs the next question then. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
No.
I'm going to ask it again. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
No.
Okay.
Would you like to persuade?
I tried. Would you like to roll for a night?
Oh, sorry. Can I persuade the guy in the forum? Sorry.
I suppose you can.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's go through the notion. So what is the influence? Which senator are you doing the persuading with, sir?
What's the relevant factors again?
Influence is a pretty key factor.
So I'll use Scipio Africanus then.
Yeah, Scipio Africanus is probably going to be a good choice. So we're going to have 6 influence. So I'm going to adjust this little card down here for everybody at home. What's the oratory of Scipio there?
5.
5.
Now, I'm assuming he's got no money to bribe. He does not.
No, he doesn't. No.
So what's the loyalty rating of our new senator in the forum there? Killian.
It is 7.
His loyalty is 7. He's not aligned yet. He's currently not aligned. And now we get to see if anybody wants to make a counter bribe. The current target dice roll is 4, so he'll need to roll less than a 4 on a 2d6. Still possible, though it will be difficult. Let's go starting with the highest ranking available officer, if I'm not mistaken. Any counter bribes from your faction treasury, sir?
No counter bribes today, thank you.
Numerus Aurelius?
No.
No, that was a head shake, no?
Yep.
Good, thank you. One, Quintus Octavius, any counter bribes from you?
That would be a no.
Cool. Appius Rufius, any counter bribes from you?
No, sir.
And finally, Mark Rowedi, any counter bribes from you? No, not from you. Okay, not a problem. All right, so you get to go ahead and roll 2d6 there, Tiberius Cornelius. And let's see if you can get under 4 there. Slight lag at my end. Unlucky, you don't make it through, so he will remain unpersuaded for the time being. All right, so it was worth a shot. All right, let's do knights now. Who would you like to roll for a knight today, sir?
I'll take Fulvius, thank you.
Cool. Any money from him?
Yeah, I'll use all 5 of his.
Cool. So that's going to be an automatic, but if you want to roll for shits and giggles anyway, feel free to do so. And you can now go update your knight counter to 1. You get a knight for Fulvius.
Where's the knight counter? Sorry.
You've already got one on him, I see. You've already got one. So we don't have a special isolated one. You just click one up on your white token. That's it. Perfect. You've done well there. Finally, you can't sponsor any money on games. You've run out of money there. But would you like to change your faction leader?
No.
Perfect. All right. Finally, let's move on to Marcawedia. Marcawedia, if you'd like now, would you like physical dice or would you like to use the automatic die roller? Yeah, you can use the automatic die roll. Go ahead and roll 2d6. 1. You needed a second one for me. And we've got a 6 and 6. That's not a 7. You get to draw a card from the deck. So go ahead and draw a quick draw from the deck and take it into your hand and have a look at it. Click and drag really quickly. That's it. And drag it into your hand and have a look at it. F to flip. That's it. And see if it's a white text or black text. Oh, that doesn't sound very good. So drag it out onto the forum and we can discuss that. There we go. Perfect. That's a perfect spot. I love your work. I'm going to bring that up for everybody at home. We have Hamilcar, Punic Wars, +3 strength here. Will increase the strength of all 3 Punic Wars. May combine with Hannibal. So not really nice that we're having these come out already. But at least these additions isn't too terrible. But now Hamilcar was the predecessor to Hannibal. So historically, I guess they've come out in order, which is quite nice. And he's going to plus up the Punic War. Now, a quick rule check is: does the appearance of an enemy leader activate an inactive war?
Let's take a look at the new rules, right?
Let's take a look at the rule book. We have a rule book over here. So
I'm
we're going to
probably going to lean to yes.
skip to the section on enemy leaders. So we might be back in that early section here, because normally there's a picture of the war. Here it is. Leader strength, leader penalties, leader death, leader activation. If while an inactive or active war is in play, a matching leader war card is drawn. Hannibal is drawn while the Punic Wars were inactive, for example. The leader is immediately placed on the war, and the war is considered active.
Oh, active.
Right.
Yeah, so we are now going to get to thank you for the bad memories comment there, Quintus Octavius. So good, thank you to Marcus Decimus for bringing that across, and we now have Hamilcar activating the first Punic War card. So you guys are already off to a flying start. 3 active wars already before you even get into the first Senate phase. That's phenomenal. So okay, yeah, tight. All right, so let's finish off the turn for Marco Wedia. Marco Wedia, would you like to make any persuasion attempts today? Are you still there, Marco Wedia? Are you on mute?
I think she's voted with her feet on all these wars.
Yeah, he's shocked. Show what?
Oh, there you go. You're back. For Achilles. All right, so who's doing your persuading, sorry? Oh, yeah, your leader Aurelius. Okay, cool. So let me just double check the stats. So what's what's Aurelius's influence? 3. What's his oratory? Yeah, coming off Aurelius's card. How much does Aurelius have, and how much would you like to add? So currently, let's add his loyalty. So what's his loyalty for the persuading senator? It's currently 7. So let's go add 7 to the loyalty of the persuader. So right now for you, you've got a -1 die roll. So you'll really want to add at least 3 or 4 to get into any possible chance. All right, you're going to add all 5. So go ahead and place that 5 on the card of Achilles for me, if you don't mind. Just, yep, hover over it, wait for it to, that's it, yeah, good. And then once you've then dragged it over and put it on top of Achilles' card, I'll grab it for you. There we go. Perfect. All right. So we're going to add 5 to the, after I finish my lag, 5 to the bribe portion over here. So now we're looking at a target dice roll of 4, like the attempt that we saw before, but of course we get to go around the room and just ask anyone who wants to add counter bribe. So to our temporary Rome consul, Marcus Decimus, anything from you?
Nothing from me today, thank you.
Who deleted all the text? Lost all of our names. Let's go through. Numerus Aurelius, any counter bribes from you?
No, thank you.
Quintus Octavius? Nothing from you. Appius Rufius?
No.
Cool. And Tiberius Cornelius? No counter bribes from you? Orange faction, Tiberius Cornelius? Come in, Tiberius Cornelius. We're waiting on you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry. No.
Nothing from you. And nothing further to add, I guess, from Marco Wedia. Okay, so let's go give that a roll. So roll your 2d6. You want to get less than 4. Yeah, double click that twice. 1, 2, and again. I mean, already we're not looking very good with that 6. Okay, so unfortunately there, we're unable to be successful with the persuasion, and we've just made it harder with Achilles. That's all right. Okay.
You may rewind, right? You may rewind, and then we will have the names again, maybe.
Potentially, it's all right. I'll add them back in later. That's not a problem. Just if you add text and stuff, guys, that's fine. But don't hit the delete all text from the menu on the left hand side, because that'll delete all the text on the board. But thankfully, it was only names, which is not a big issue. All right, let's finish off the turn. Marco Wedia, who's doing a knight today? Who's looking for a knight? Okay, he's got no money, so go ahead and roll 1d6 for me. And you're going to get looking for a 6, and you get a 2. Unfortunate. Nobody's sponsoring any games today. Would you like to change your faction leader? Nope. Okay, very good. All right, so let's go and put Rome in order. Now that everybody has taken their initiatives, all senators holding a major office get a major marker. So we've only got the one at the moment, which is over here, which is Furious. Furious, you'll find the major markers in the center of the board next to prior consoles. And then if you then flip it, it'll actually become major. There you go. Perfect. So your guy is good to go. That'll let the censor know that that guy is eligible for prosecution.
The censor will know.
Yes,
whoever that may or may not be.
It's almost like you know what's going to happen. We don't have a second Punic War or a Gladiator Slave Revolt active right now, so we're really good on that front, guys. And then we thankfully have nothing in the Curia that requires a HRAO to do any rolling. So no dead senators, no dead concessions or enemies that we need to think about. And finally, all players need to update their faction vote tallies. So in your little markers out the front, I want you to update your faction vote tallies. So you're adding up all your oratory plus knights. So we're only going to see probably 2 changes, I think, for those knights today. That's going to affect your vote tallies. So just make sure you do your counts, oratory plus knights, and upvote those vote tokens out the front there. And if you're really switched on, you'll, of course, go over and update the vote tally markers over here on the far right-hand side if you're game enough to do that. Any questions from the players so far? No? Good. Nothing from the chat. I think we fixed the audio issue for Mark Wedia. That's good. Oh, cool. Poach Trout was saying that for the event deck, we can actually right-click on the deck and click search in the future. That's good to know.
Yes, you can.
And of course, yes, we can of course use the persuasion calculator from the tools menu, so we don't have to pan back and forwards, which is what I was doing there. So it's also a good point. And of course, Poached Trout was on the mark. He knew that a leader activated the war, so he's switched on right on the money. So thank you for all the active hints and tips going along there, Poached Trout. Very good. I wish we could give subs in return. That'd be nice for our audience members. Cool. All right, folks, we've now finished our forum phase. Let's go ahead into the population phase, and we can update our little turn marker there. I love that feature. I think that's a really great addition there, Poached Trout and team. That's fantastic. Hey, good on you for some of you putting your names back. Fantastic. Well done there. That's good to see. All right, so now that we're in the population phase, we can bring up our little cheat sheet again there, and you can see that we're going to have a look at our unrest level. So of course we get +1 for every drought and any unprosecuted wars, but we don't have any droughts right now. I think let's just double check our active wars. None of these are making us with a drought, are they? No. Second Illyria doesn't give it a drought. Syrian War doesn't give a drought. First Punic War doesn't give a drought. That's good. And none of those are unprosecuted yet, which is good. And then we finally get to move into the State of the Republic. So for those who haven't seen this before, I require of my officers to give a bit of a speech about how things are going before they undertake their State of the Republic 3D6 die roll. So at this point in time, I'm going to hand over to the current temporary Rome consul, which I believe is Senator Furious, under the great guise of Marcus Decimus Meridius. Over to you, sir, for your first inaugural talk of the population phase and State of the Republic. Over to you.
No. Senators, I would like to firstly formally welcome you to our first ever Senate speech of the Republic. We have spent long years, time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears in order to form the Republic that we see before us. I know each and every one of you here on the Senate today has worked tirelessly towards this end. I see a great, glorious future for our Republic into the future, which will never at any stage fall to a dictatorship. Now, there are many more things for us senators to do on behalf of the Republic. Namely, we have 3 active wars that we must look to discuss in the near future, as well as dealing with the Carthaginians, our dearest rivals at this stage. But these are things to merely overcome as we rise the great Republic of Rome to be the superpower of this world that I know that it deserves to be. Now, senators, please join me for the Republic of Rome.
Hoorah.
Here.
Very good. I like the rousing speech. That's very good. All right,
Yep.
you know what to do. 3d6. All right, what's that number? 13. Let's go up here. State of the Republic. No modifiers. Yep. So no change.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Rousing.
comfortable start. And of course, you guys know that with the moment we rolled that 3d6, we are in the Senate phase, and I get to press that button now. We are now happily in the Senate phase. You guys know how it runs from here. You've got your sheet. For those at home, we're following this sequence that you can see on your screen now, and it always starts with the election of the next set of consoles. So, of course, over to our presiding magistrate. This is your show.
Thank you very much. I, through a matter of necessity and the process that was required for setting up the Republic, am proud to hand over this role to the elective process within the Senate. I, for the first proposal of the Republic, of our great Republic, wish to put forward the proposal that Aurelius, as well as Scipio Africana.
Sorry, what factions are these, if I may interrupt? Just so
Why
I
don't
know
you
it
use your
all.
nominee tokens on the far side over here?
Perfect, that'd help.
That'll help everyone out if you want to place your nominees.
And Scipio Africana. These are my two current nominees for the position of the consuls. I wish to place this to immediate vote, and I will hear from Marca Vretia.
Marca, where you can hear us? There we go. I note that for some reason the stream can't hear Mark Guedia or see Mark Guedia for some reason. I'm trying to work out what that is. We can hear you, Mark Guedia. We can hear and see you on our personal video feed. For some reason, the stream can't. So we'll have to relay what's going on there. I'll work that out a little bit later. But sorry, what did you say there? We'll reiterate for the stream. Mark Guedia, what was your response there again? Sorry.
She's got her headphones off, but she said 6 votes in favour.
Oh, 6 votes. So just to recall, you'll drag your votes into the yay or nay side. That'll help us tally up. So somebody wants to drag those into the yay side for Mark Whitney. Very good.
Then we'll go.
You're going to wait for the presiding magistrate to call upon you first.
Yes, we'll go anti-clockwise through the Senate. So, Tobias Cornelius, you may place your votes now.
Anti-clockwise, right?
Yes. Aurelius Ruffius, place your votes forward. I see the Tribune. I believe that is the veto call.
So what is it? Veto or proposal for the next round, or what?
That will veto the current proposal.
I don't know because he didn't state it. You could also reserve the right to make the next proposal with the Tribune.
Who threw the Tribune? Quintus Octavius. So is that reserving for the next proposal, or is that for a veto? Are you on mute there, Quintus Octavius?
That I am.
There we are. You're back.
I am vetoing this one.
Vetoing the proposal. All right, fair enough. There we go. The veto has been utilised. And people can take their vote markers back, and now the presiding magistrate will have to consider a new proposal.
Thank you. I've heard the call from the Senate, and I will formulate a new proposal.
Yep, take your time, have a think about it.
The new proposal being Plautius, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I will continue to nominate the Scipio Africana as the two possible consuls for my proposal. I'll hear from Marca Vertia first. Tiberius Cornelius. Aurelius Ruffius. Quintus Octavius.
Now, what's the rules? It's one per person, right?
What's that? Sorry.
Vetoing's one per person, right?
If you've got more than one Tribune, you can throw more vetoes out if you want.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
and that he does. So we're seeing yet another veto on the second proposal there.
I am chaos.
All right. Those two candidates are no longer considered as a proposal together. So back to the presiding magistrate again to consider.
I'll have to formulate a brand new, completely different proposal,
Mhm.
which will be Papyrus and Scipio Africana as my two proposal for console to take over the reins of the Republic. I wish to place this to vote. I'll hear from Marco Valetia firstly, Tiberius Cornelius, Marcos Ruffius, Quintus Octavius.
Does he have another one?
Vote.
He has no
Amiri-
cards left, so
Aurelius Aurelia, and I will place my own vote in the yay pile. And as far as I can tell from the Senate, the yays have it.
It looks pretty good to me. Well done. So we now have our two new consoles. So we'll let them now discuss who's going to be who, whether they want to do that privately or publicly. We'll let them decide. So we'll just give them a brief moment to discuss that amongst themselves. Thank you to our previous
Mark, can
round
you hear me?
console for putting the token back and grabbing a prior console markup. Very good.
Mark, do you hear me?
Yep, we can.
I don't know if Mark can. You can. I can't hear you. So my suggestion is
Marka
that
is maybe on mute or what?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
thought
hear
it was just me. So so we can't hear it all, Marker. No.
my suggestion is that Papyrus is Rome console, and that way we can have Scipio Africanus as the field console. I see you're nodding.
She seems to agree with that. All right. Maybe if you want to rejoin the video ninja, potentially, if you want to give that a whirl. Yeah. All right. So if you wanted to start setting that up, then Tiberius Cornelius, it sounds like you guys have made a nice decision there, which is good. All right. Good. Yep. We can put those markers back. Perfect.
Is that any better?
Hey,
Now
you're all
we can
back.
hear you.
Hey,
Okay, that's good.
And you're back on stream too. Fantastic. Oh, very good. That fixed it. You're all perfect again. I'm glad you're back. Oh, and I'm sure the crowd's happy too. Oh, good. All right, so excellent. We've got our new console. So yes, let's having a look. If I use my magnifier here, so we're going to have Papirius, Senator number 11, as Rome console, and he has naturally taken on the Fuscus there. And then, of course, we have Scipio Africanus as the field console. I think that's a wise choice. The players have obviously thought about this. And, we notice his special ability there, which can be quite nice. Yes, Poached Trout is very happy that Marco Whittier is back. Excellent. Good. All right, so you guys have now nominated your consulerships. Now, make sure you please update your influence if you haven't already. So Scipio gets 5, and, of course, Papirius gets 5. I'll help you out, Marco Whittier, and bring you over a new marker if you want to add your relevant amount of details for Papirius. What's he currently got? 3, and he gets 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. So you don't need the first one, really. I'll do it for you. Here we go. How's my addition? 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, good. Excellent. There we go. All right. Senators discussing. Well done. I just finally saw your graffiti there, Quintus Octavius. That's apparently. You're currently reading a rule. Yeah, that's fair enough. Is that the rule talking about dictators at all? Because if it is, we need something for the consoles to now consider. So what
it's
are
not
our prerequisites for dictatorships? Can everybody remember?
4 or more wars, I think, is one of them, or 3.
Right. Or I think you'll find that it's probably 3 or more active wars.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the other one.
The other one's talking about wars equal to or greater than strength 20 individually, and I don't think you have one of those. But you do meet the requisites of 3 or more active wars on the board. So again, a decision for the consoles to make is you guys could together appoint a dictator should you desire. Bearing in mind it's an appointment, not an election, unless you guys have this weird disagreement and it needs to go to the floor. But otherwise, that is for you guys to decide.
Which
So
did happen last year, for those people who remember.
So
You need somebody with good military.
What was the question, sorry?
You do a dictator, though.
Maybe.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
We want somebody
Possible
with good
dictator.
military rating if we appoint a dictator. Yeah.
Keen observation.
No, well. Sorry, guys. That's not technically true. Since you get the Master of Horse, you can have a more middling guy because they kind of make up for it. So don't just look at the military. Remember the politics of the whole situation.
There's always rule
good bit of advice.
1.09.7, man.
Don't let their flashy military number kind of sway you.
Yeah. Spoken like a guy with low military ratings.
I don't think that's quite true.
So, just tell me
actually,
again, what are
you're
the benefits of a dictator?
It adds to our role, I thought, when we...
Yes, combined with the Master of Horse, you can essentially get a larger military bonus added to your role. So instead of having 3, 4, or maybe 5 military rating, you could have 7, 8, or 9, depending on the combination of your dictator and Master of Horse together.
At the risk of rolling the clock back to numerous discussions last year, I think the choice of dictator is dependent on our overall military strategy.
Yeah.
This is correct.
This is a flashback.
It can't be vetoed.
So I'm not the console, I'm not the Rome console, but it may be prudent for the Senate to have a discussion about the military strategy.
So, will we first elect a Pontifex Maximus or not? Because
it looks like they're wanting to have some pre-discussion first about whether they're going to appoint a dictator or not.
I don't think we need a dictator.
Although based on the running sheet, it does actually require a Pontifex Maximus election first, and then you can talk about dictatorships. So that's a good point.
But this decision is not even up to us. It's first of all, if the consuls agree, it's not up to the Senate to decide this.
Correct. Also a valid point.
Can also
but the way I read the process is right. You guys do need to elect a Pontifex Maximus first at this time, and then you can talk about dictatorship appointments, if at all. So that's for the presiding magistrate to run the ship on Marcawedia.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to elect Pontifex Maximus before we discuss the dictator. But it seems that we're getting a few people not so keen on dictators. Okay.
I don't see the point.
Pardon?
I don't see the point. But do the Maximus first. We'll get to it.
Okay. So
once we've considered got to the point of our dictator appointment, folks, we'll take our 5-minute break at that point too. Okay.
Okay. Yep. So I'm going to put forward a nomination, and then we're going to vote on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put forward Claudius from Marcus Decimus from the Solis faction. Can I please get your votes, please, Marcus Decimus?
I'll place 11 votes for the proposal.
Okay. Now Numerius Aurelius. Now we have Quintus Octavius. Now we have Appius.
Good.
Now Tiberius Cornelius.
Ooh.
And now me.
All right. Who wins? Who's good at rapid arithmetic?
Yay.
It's
Yay
easy.
win.
It's
Yay,
easy.
win.
The A's will have it. So now we have a Pontifex Maximus. So Pontifex Maximus, please take your token and please update your influence, of course. And we'll also drag that to the front of your area as well to show that you've got your veto to use too for your Pontifex Maximus. That's a reminder for yourself and others that you do have that once per turn on a proposal of your standing. I'll bring that back over for you as well. There you go. Nice.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. Now we can come back to the discussion on dictatorships. So back to the consoles. Back to your party.
Okay.
So I see we've got sort of two military strategies open to us here.
Mm-hmm.
One is that we send the field console after the Punic War.
Mhm.
That's dependent on us being able to recruit enough forces. The second is that we leave that war unprosecuted and we prosecute the two other wars, the Syrian War and the Illyrian War, which are easy to beat. We'd still need to build up forces, but if we did that, my suggestion would that we appoint a dictator to make managing those wars easier.
Yes, I was for thinking about appointing a dictator.
And I'm interested in what other senators have to say about those two strategies.
So is this now open discussion? No?
Yes.
Could you please then restate what you said, because I wasn't attentive to your speech.
That's all
Because I
right. So
thought it was private.
there may be a third and more strategies, but the two that I suggested were that we raise forces to prosecute the Punic War under the field console, using his benefits, of course, to negate some of the standoff and disaster numbers. Alternatively, we could appoint a dictator and raise forces to prosecute both the Syrian and Second Illyrian Wars. That would imply that we would go after the Punic War next turn.
That one was my vote, to do the dictator and possibly try for both. But yeah.
I think my feeling, if it's open discussion, is we probably should try to deal with the Carthaginians as soon as as soon as possible, leaving such a strong faction only to grow their forces as in the coming years may prove very costly for us.
But then could we still not appoint a dictator for that as well? Wouldn't that up the roll on it too?
No.
No?
Not if we successfully prosecute in one of the other two wars.
Okay.
I actually reversed my position. I think we should go for the two smaller ones first. I'd be happy with the dictator. Simply for the pragmatic, if you look at the disaster and standoff rolls, they're quite low and high on the kind of, on the tail ends of the spectrum of what you would roll. So I think there's a good chance of us clearing both of them pretty easily, and then having a lot of resources, especially with that 45 gold from the Syrian War, to raise enough forces for the Punic War that we wouldn't need a dictator next turn. So just kind of clear out those smaller ones. Hopefully, get a lot of resources because they're a bit easier, and then we'll be in a good position to kind of clear out the other one.
Goes Quintus first with adding to our council.
He hasn't got any veto cards left, so he may not.
I just love how he comes out firing first round. I love it.
I'll abstain for now.
Okay.
No comments from the green.
I would also advise to take on the Carthaginians first, but I do not agree that we would need a dictator and master force in order to deal with this threat. And one has also to keep in mind that our funds, at least now, are limited in order to finance wars and keep something in reserve. Next round it will be better, but for now. And I'm against the proposal to take on the 2 other minor wars because we have already Scipio Africanus is already now field consul and got a lot of influence by this, and this would be somewhat wasted. He would got it for nothing. He would have got it for nothing. Now we should use him with his special ability.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that ability doesn't go away. It can be there for future turns.
Yeah, but we would have to re-elect him, giving him more influence.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah.
Especially with the like the extra vigor our senators will have this turn of the game. We should be very aware of that. These senators will be spending a lot more time than what we're used to among us.
But yeah, I understand the point. In the strategy of prosecuting Punic wars would leave 2 unprosecuted wars, as opposed to 1 unprosecuted war. If we prosecuted the Assyrian and the Second Illyrian War, I feel like there's a lot of logic there, and a dictator would permit us to raise sufficient forces. Well, that's an assumption. It needs to be tested. I assume that we can raise sufficient forces to get to the statistical outcomes that we're happy with. I don't know if somebody could do that calculation. I forget how. But having the dictator and master of horse to strengthen those numbers should get us to the zone. I would think that we would comfortably prosecute those 2 wars and have the chance to win that we'd be satisfied with.
Surely, senators, after newly forming the republic, we so quickly throw it into the hands of a dictator. Senators, I ask you.
An appeal to emotion
is always
is a
there to
popular
do the
political
job,
tactic.
right? It's not that he will stay forever.
Well, it's
But
between the
I'm not
consoles,
in
so-
favor of this.
That's a good point. Poach Trout just said that if you guys are thinking about numbers, feel free to bring up the combat calculator from the tools menu. Everyone will see it at the same time, and you can start running some numbers visually for yourselves right now. So if you wanted to do that, and everybody can see this at the same time. So if you wanted to go, all right, if we're having X amount of legions and we're going to have a dictator or war strength this and war strength that, feel free to have a look at your probabilities. Feel free to run your numbers. That's what this tool is for. So again, thank you to Poach Trout for helping us out and pointing this out to us. It's really good.
So war strength. Okay. The Legion fleet strength.
So we'd have to calculate those separately, right? So we have to calculate first the naval strength. Is that right? I know that's a support points, isn't it? Not a naval
It's only
victory.
support, yeah. But we would need to raise those fleets. Keep in mind.
So we'd need 4 fleets at least.
Okay, so let's just say that we put 4 in there. Leader ratings. Where are we? Which number is the leader rating? Is that the...
It doesn't have a leader.
No? Okay.
So we have a leader on the Carthaginian war, right? It's
You do.
Hamilcar.
You do, yeah. +3 is the enemy leader strength.
So
and
the
don't forget about his disaster and standoff numbers as well.
Are we doing the Syrian war? Which war are we putting?
No,
in?
we were first calculating, I guess, this Carthaginian war or not.
Okay, so we nullify the numbers.
Yes, sure.
Okay, and what's the leaders? Where are we? D? Does anyone know the DNS values for the leader?
8 and 12.
8 and 12.
8 tab 12. Whoa. Okay, so it's a -4. No, a war.
At that current
has-
strength, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
52% chance of defeat based on those numbers.
So, and it's what, at the moment, it's what, 20 per new unit, or is it 10 per new unit?
Legion fleet strength is meant for the forces attacking, not the support fleets. FYI. If that makes a difference.
it does. So
Yeah,
so
because there is
so
an
what's our
extra
current
advantage,
forces?
right? You
5.
don't need to fight the
Current forces
war
is
against Carthaginian fleet. It's only support. So, but we would raise legions, right? Scipio wouldn't be left with only 4 legions.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
right. Good point.
So where does that get added on? How
The
does that
Legion
go
fleet
to-
strength.
Right.
So
Okay.
so obviously you don't need to fight the naval battle. So you're only you of course you've got to raise your minimum 5 fleets to be able to even fight the war. But right, you want to raise legions probably on top of the 4 that you've already got. So whatever you
still
think
hear
you're
me
going to
or not?
buy, you can
Because
add to
I
your
can't
Legion
hear you.
strength box
Maybe I
there.
have
So someone's
to
got 9, 10,
connect.
11, 12, 13 in there at the moment. 14, and so your dice roll modifier is rapidly increasing, and your percentage for victory is rapidly increasing as well. You'll notice
Well-
that'll never be 100% because your enemy leader disaster and standoff numbers still take effect, despite the Punic War ones being cancelled, but the enemy leader ones are not cancelled. So that's why there will never be 100% chance of victory.
So what can we afford to raise?
And you'll use use commas to separate the multiple disaster standoff values, but I think you guys have got that. Yeah, that's good.
Oh shit! What did I press? Sorry.
Is it 10 per one, or it's 10 per 1 unit at the moment, right?
How much money do we have?
192.
192.
192. You're doing pretty well.
So with 5 fleets, that leaves 142. So we could raise up to 14. Is that correct maths?
But would we really want to spend everything in the treasury?
And that would
Like,
put us up to 19. No, 18.
Okay, look, and even at 18, like there's still.
It's ridiculous.
Still a 1 in 5 chance that we lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've spent all that money. And
All right.
Yet if we go after the smaller wars, we can get money in return and still have money to spare, as well as
correct.
That's
Yeah.
right.
keep Scipio for later on. I don't know, dictator's choice, have fun.
What was the question, Octavius?
Dictator's your choice. I'll let you guys have fun with deciding that.
Yeah, you guys are the consoles. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's ask the consoles. Will there be a dictator or not?
I vote yes for dictator.
Yes, I voted yes for dictator.
All right. So it sounds like you guys are appointing a dictator. So the next question
Yes.
is, who are you appointing as dictator?
Which one? Both of their military ratings matter, or is it more just the
It does. but
dictator?
From a combat point of view, I'd make sure that both are high.
Yeah.
Politically, that could be a different answer, but certainly from a war point of view, you'd want to make sure that both the
Yeah.
dictator and master war horse have high military values.
Okay.
So, Appius, if we appointed Aemilius, would you be happy to run that dual war strategy, the prosecuting the 2 wars that we've talked about, the Syrian War and the Second Illyrian War? Consultation. One doesn't simply hand over the keys to government without checking they're going to do what you want.
I like it.
To whom was this question posed?
I have no
To you,
clouds,
Appius.
Can you restate your question? Sorry.
So Aemilius is an attractive option as a dictator. So you're Senator number 19, Aemilius.
Yes. Okay.
So if he was appointed dictator, what would you propose to do?
To try our luck against the Carthaginian War.
Right. Okay.
Then it would be very unfavorable because he wouldn't have to go first. The dictator doesn't have to go first. Okay, that's
That is true. That is correct. The dictator does not have to go first to war. That is correct. Only the field consul before the Rome consul. That's a good point. Well raised.
So my question is, if we elected, say, then, we've got, who do we have here? We have like Julius or Fabius as well too, also with a military of 4. So if they're elected as the field consul, they're the ones, or is their things equal? The dictator and the field consul, do they both decide? I thought it was the dictator who decides.
They do, yeah. They're in charge.
But the
Yeah,
field
that'd be the presiding magistrate, right?
Yeah, but the field consul's military does still add to it.
No, the
Master of Horse for the dictator.
Master of Horse.
Yeah, the Master of Horse. Their military does still help bolster it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we do have the option of possibly then putting in like Sulpicius as the dictator, and then we could put in like Fabius or Julius as the Master of Horse.
My only thinking about it is there also is a chance if the dictator thinks the same way as some of the senators here, myself included, there's a good chance the dictator will just send the field consul to fight the Carthaginians, and
True.
you would have elected a dictator really for maybe no benefit besides giving that senator undue influence.
Were you pro-dictator before, if I remember correctly, or?
No, I was against dictator.
That's okay. I just wanted to check.
Chat, you can check me on that.
Yeah, we'll rewind the tape.
It's hard to keep track when there's 6 people talking.
So I think Sulpicius looks like the man for the job.
Yep, and then
Got a strong Roman nose.
Yep, and then I was thinking.
Well, it'll be
Strong
up to
Roman
Sulpicius to.
Yeah, because they both agreed now Sulpicius is the dictator, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then he appoints his own master.
Oh, okay. So someone has passed an assassination attempt here. Who's thrown that out?
But first
Give me one
of
guess.
all, make
take a
clear that
guess.
first make clear that he is the dictator with influence and so on, and then we will go to the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's update the senator in question. Now that he was appointed as dictator, that's fine. And then let's add some influence to him. 7 + 2.
So, and he had no time to choose his master of horse yet.
True. He has not yet selected his master of horse.
So if he dies, there will be no master of horse.
Well, there will be nobody to pick one. So it's an unusual case. But if there's no dictator to pick a master of horse because of death, then none will be appointed because only the dictator can do that. So there won't be a master of horse.
Yeah.
Right, so we now have an assassination attempt underway. First of all, we'll ask the assassinator, is there any cards that you wish to play as a part of this plot?
There is not.
All right, and I guess from the defender side, Numerus Aurelius, any cards that you wish to play as a part of this plot?
He has none
No,
to state this yet, right? He can wait and see what happens and afterwards use his card, by the way.
Potentially, yeah. So let's go to our assassination table, and I'm going to come up here for the view of the viewers at home. Pretty simple. It's a 1d6 that the assassinator is going to roll. He's looking for 5 or more to make an effect. 3 or 4, nothing happens. 2 or less, he gets caught, and then there's some stuff that needs to happen in terms of court assassins being killed, etc. We'll probably need to remind ourselves of that, but that's obviously not what he's going for. So, in true fashion, let's go ahead. Let's roll that 1d6 and let's see what you get there, assassin. See if our new appointed dictator is taken out already. Man, we're only on turn 1, folks.
Yeah. Let me just declare that it's Fabius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
please
Fabius?
declare who's actually assassinating. Yes, please.
Fabius.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Fabius. And
Clean.
he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he gets away with it cleanly. All right, so
holy buck.
Turn of events. So the concession, that'll end up in the forum here. And of course, Sulpicius, he's going to end up in the Curia. I'm gonna refresh myself on the deaths of senators. We can take his counters away here. That's not a problem. I'm just trying to recall from our. We used to provide a under the aging senators rule a save, but you're not entitled to that save, particularly if you're not a faction leader. So Sulpicius here is going into the Curia. And the counters are lost on board as well. So we'll pick up Sulpicius here, throw him over in the Curia. So he will eventually be able to be revived at a future time. But wow, phenomenal. So what we're also going to do is we note that we can use these new pieces to show that when factions have been either the target of assassination, etc. So we can see here that this piece here, place in the factions that were the target of an assassination attempt to show that they can't get assassinated this turn. So Numerius Aurelius will get a copy of one of these. So you can't assassinate him anymore in this Senate phase.
And the other
and the other one, yes, you can use the other one here because that flips over, right? Yes. So
yes,
and now,
yes,
whereas this guy, Green faction, can't make any more assassination attempts this turn. There we go. Thankfully, thankfully for everybody else, right? Okay, so now that at least we attempted to make a dictatorship appointment and failed. Now's a great time to have a break, folks, so we can just sort of unwind about what just happened. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the stream. We're going to take a brief break. You can all get up, stretch your legs, have a break. Let's take 5 minutes. For everybody on the live stream or on YouTube, we'll be back in 5 minutes' time. Just give our senators a break. Don't go away. We'll be back real soon. Hooroo. Hello, civilians, citizens, observers, Peanut Gallery. We are back after the break. Thank you very much for your patience on the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2022. I am Decimus Aurelius, your host here on the virtual tabletop environment inside Tabletop Simulator, and we are here with our 6 different faction leaders. After an amazing, whopping sort of first half, we just saw an assassination already round 1. People are really competitive. We've seen the dictator appointed and then die with a very clean assassination attempt by Quintus Octavius's faction there. In true form, very much like last year. He continues his fantastic stabby streak. So well done. That's given a pause for thought for the rest of the factions who now consider what's going to happen going forwards. Well, I'll let the discussion continue, but it'll essentially be back to the presiding magistrate to run her Senate. So over to you guys.
Okay.
But remember, may I add something technically, point of order? Because now there must, according to the rules, happen automatically the appointment of a censor, and then it will automatically switch to the censor as the presiding magistrate.
True. Very much. Are we happy to proceed with that next step now?
Yep.
Very
All
happy.
right. As we know, we've only got one eligible candidate for censor, which is anybody with a prior console marker. And as we know, there's only one eligible, which is Furious over there in the in Marcus Decimus's faction. So please make yourself a censor and update your influence accordingly while you're there. Don't want you to miss out on your influence. So click up on your tokens that you've already got on your card there.
Yep, just trying to remember again where the singular little white tokens were.
You've already got one on there. Oh, sorry. Sorry. You want another one because you're going into the double digits. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. And that's right. Good point. Don't forget, shadows are your friends, ladies and gentlemen. If you're placing tokens, look where the shadow is. That'll tell you where it drops.
Actually, it does go up past 10s.
There you go.
Somewhat.
So you can use 1 or 2. I'm happy if you use either. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. That makes things nice and neat.
Good. All right.
If I could be so bold to take. All right. Thank you. I'll be taking over for only a brief amount of time, as we are in our very first session of the Senate discussion of Rome. We have plenty of business to discuss. I don't see widespread corruption, perhaps little sprinkles. But at this stage, I clearly see each senator working towards the glory of Rome. So at this stage, I will not go forward with any any what's the correct terminology?
Prosecutions?
Prosecutions at this stage, and hand back over the reins to the Rome consul.
Everyone
Right.
working
Well, what do you
towards
gotta do?
the glory of Rome while killing dictators? Okay.
No one knows that from
Agreed.
anyone.
Hey.
You want to remove your corrupt marker there, Censor?
Yes, and everyone else as well, please.
Yeah, everybody can now hide the corrupt portion on their
You
concession.
have been absolved of all your crimes.
All right, that's a big thing that I
never
want
killed
my
anyone.
censors to remember. Is censors need to remember to have everybody remove their corrupt major markers from senators in Rome. So you can see that highlighted in purple here over on our cheat sheet, because it's one of the things we often forget. So anything in purple is something we've often forgotten in our games previously. So be wary of that. Poached Trout loved the statement "sprinkles of corruption." Very good. Cool. We get to move on. So back to you, Marta Wedia, as the highest ranking available officer. Now that we don't have a dictator.
What dictator?
Yes. You're okay. We can hear. Maybe he can't hear us. It's all right. He'll reconnect. Oh, okay. Yep, it is still open.
Yes, election of governors. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, so how many governors? I'm just having a look. It's one, is it?
You've got none right now.
No governors? Okay.
Yep.
Next is, where are we?
Appius Rufius, if you can hear us, if you want to do a full reconnect on Video Ninja. Yep. We can hear you, but the stream can't. So if you want to reconnect, just shut down Video Ninja and rejoin again. That'll fix you up. That's it. Video Ninja's not perfect.
So the Pontifex Maximus can assign priests if they feel like it.
They can, yes. I think we're waiting for Marta Wedia to rejoin us as well. That's okay.
Nat one issues.
Oh, yeah, you're back. We've got you again.
How
There you
many
go.
priests can the Pontifex Maximus assign?
Once a turn.
So once each round.
Yes, correct.
And only one.
And only one around. Add or remove.
And only in the Senate phase.
And only in the Senate phase. That is correct.
Okay. Now, the other thing.
Oh, she disappeared again.
Session 1.
Oh, sorry, the cheat sheet on my thing, it goes to the other thing.
Ah, I see. Is that what's happening? I see. Right. If you use the cheat sheet on the virtual tabletop, that'll be easier.
Okay, no worries. Sorry.
You're right.
We're up to, where are we up to? We've done this. Okay, so no priests being assigned.
That's all right. That's a decision for the Pontifex Maximus anyway. So that's just to let them know that they can do it at any time. But you're in a part of the sequence now where everything is optional. So it's up to you to decide about what you want or not want to see happen going forward. So it's good. You've done all the mandatory stuff.
Battle recruitment, don't we?
And the Pontifex Maximus has to decide if he wants to assign priests, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. It's only in the running sheet just to let the Pontifex Maximus know. But yes, that is entirely the Pontifex Maximus' decision. Yep.
The main thing is the recruitment of legions or fleets. Okay. So I think we did the maths on the Syrian, was it? On the Syrian war, and I think we needed at least, was it 6? So we had 9 in total.
So we need to purchase 2 fleets, and we need to purchase 5 legions.
Okay.
I just want to remind you guys as well that it's always good practice to go into battle with more fleet support than what you need in case you get that rare instance where you do not get a victory. And in order for the war to be considered prosecuted, you need to have the minimum fleet support remaining for it to be considered prosecuted. Otherwise, it'll be unprosecuted.
Okay, so do we need 2 extra fleets then?
Yeah,
I mean, again, that's a decision for you guys. It's just a risk if you don't.
But are we prosecuting both wars or not? Or we're picking one?
I would continue to advocate for the prosecution of the first Punic War against the Carthaginians, and I'll probably vote in that direction.
The odds didn't look very good though when we put it in. So you really think that
It wasn't the odds, it was the expense.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I suppose the odds and the expense. Well, yes, the expense was quite large. I was going to say, Marcus Decimus, why do you think that we should still go with the Carthaginians?
The worst thing that could occur is if we roll and have the Carthaginians grow in strength. Possibly new leaders could be born. Perhaps they'll launch a second invasion upon our lands. There's also, I guess, if we want to be open among the senators, there's also the fact that we utilize political strength during this first Senate phase to elect someone to field consul that would have the best opportunity to prosecute an early Punic War.
Yeah.
If we don't utilize it and then say we'll utilize it later, basically we've utilized the double election on someone who may not needed to. So those are the two. One, I believe it's the right decision, and I believe the political bias is towards that direction.
So I would say if we can only prosecute one war, that we should prosecute the Punic War. But if we can prosecute two wars, then we should. And I think we can for the same expense, can't we?
Yes and no.
Well, let's attempt to do a little bit of math, because we can raise an additional 19 fleets or legions. Let's say at the absolute max. So we have to, at a bare minimum, raise 5 for the fleets. So that takes our options for raising legions to 14. With our current 4, so the absolute maximum that we could raise would be 18. And that's like every cent. So let's just start with the absolute max.
Then we need to subtract 4 because we need to keep in mind the 2 war costs afterwards.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Then we start having a look at drawing now. Let's have a look at what our percentage chance of victory is. 78%. If we reduce it by 1, it only lowers it by like 1 and a bit percent. So that means basically nothing. 1 and a bit. Probably around here, we're starting to see more substantial drops. 14 and 13 cost the same by the looks. There's a major drop. So probably the minimum
we can go is 12.
Yeah, well, 12 is a bit scary. 13 gives us a major jump. That's what about 11%. Then the next one gives us no benefit. The next one gives us a benefit of about 7%. So probably if we want to go value for money, we would want a total legion strength of 13. So there'll be a raise of 9.
Yeah.
But then we have to win.
Yeah.
There's no we can't, or we might win. We have to win, or else we're down too much money.
If we raise 9 plus the 5, there'll be 14. We would have 40 gold. Obviously, losing that, we will earn.
So we have to raise 5 fleets.
Yes.
That already takes us down to 190. So we're at 152.
Yeah, and then so
that's 15 we can raise.
And then we got to also sorry.
And taking those 2 active wars, we need to keep in mind we're going to have to pay for those, so we have to take off 4.
Yeah.
So we only can raise about 11 maximum from what we have.
And we would only raise 9 in this equation.
Yeah.
Why would we only raise 9? Because I don't like those odds. That's 62% chance of victory. That's not great.
The reason why I say 9 is we currently have 4 from the very foundation our Rome Republic. Raising 9 would get us to our 13, and this just adds into our current calculation. If we were to go to 15, we can have a look. From
There's only a
yeah.
I was going to say, Appius, do you still agree with going after the Carthaginians as opposed to the 2 smaller wars, especially with the low chance of victory?
Yes, I do, and I would like to see every single legion given to Scipio in order to max his probabilities.
Yeah.
My reasoning is that it is unfortunately a game, and one it is totally possible. We know it from the deck that it's totally possible that we could get
Another war.
Hannibal, and Second Punic War next round, and then we would have a much greater problem.
Yeah.
That would be gain.
Like I know we're kind of looking at it saying, oh, there's not a great possibility. We are looking at approximately two thirds.
Hold up, I just realized something,
Yeah.
Decibus.
Yes.
And guys, Allied Enthusiasm also hits us next turn.
Yeah.
So we get 50 next turn without having to worry about
At
that.
the revenue phase, yeah.
Yeah. So we already get a guaranteed 50, which covers those 2 wars and 10. So if we really want, we can push an extra troop on that to get us to 16, to get us an 8 modifier, 74% chance. But that's pushing it.
Yeah, that would be with every cent. So we go from a 2/3 at probably our best value for money to a 3/4 at every single cent.
Yeah.
Appears to be the range.
We'll still have some money left over.
Yes, we would have 2 talents.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't know why, but 69% chance of victory sounds good to me.
Yeah, that number aligns with
it's not that great of a chance, I have to admit, but we have to gamble now because we have no other chance.
Well, yeah, so we can gamble this way, or we can gamble the other way, right? So,
So let's just have a look at the numbers here. If we go bare minimum 9 troops raising, that's a 62.5% chance.
Yeah, about 2/3.
If we increase that by 2 raising of troops, it only goes up by about 7%.
Yeah.
If we push it 1 more, it goes up a total of 12.
Yeah, we'll go up by another 5. Which I believe is... It wouldn't be our cap, right? Because we go down, we can raise 14 troops. So this would be our absolute cap.
Yeah, our cap is 18.
And we drop it by 1, and it's basically nothing. Drop by that, absolutely nothing. So yeah, I reckon 16 might be a good upper limit.
16.
The difference between 16 and 18 is like 3.5%.
Not much. Yeah.
So it's either we go for the 16 is probably our good upper range, and 13 is a good lower range.
I was going to say the difference with the 16 and 18 is just the stalemate percentage. Which
did you also account for the fleet support we would need?
Yes, we did.
But is it the minimum fleet support or the fleet support that gives us some insurance if we lose?
That would be the minimum. But
there's no insurance. It's
insurance. We would have to
at
do
minimum
13.
with fleet.
Yeah, if we include insurance, no, we would do 15 for insurance. Because I believe the disaster you lose half. So if we lose half rounded up, we would lose 3. So if we had 8 fleets, even a disaster, we would maintain. Actually, no. If we had 8, we'd lose half then, which would be 4. So it would be 9. No, rounded up. So it'd have to be 10.
To raise 10.
It would have to be 10. If we wanted, but at the same time, we're already gamba. We might as.
We can't afford that.
Sure. Let's consider if we enforce the idea that we want to have the safety net of if we roll a disaster losing half our forces, that we're going to raise 10. So that makes our possible legion raising 9. So we go 9 plus the 4 that we already have, 13, which goes back to our 2/3 roll. So that would be 2/3 roll of victory even if we lose, the war would still be prosecuted.
I don't follow any of that, but if you say so.
I reckon just go with the 15 or 16.
So has our presiding magistrate heard enough? Is that enough for the presiding magistrate to make a proposal yet?
The only thing I can say is that if one would proceed with the idea to prosecute the other 2 minor wars, one would have to completely change the policy according to the possibility that the second Carthaginian war could come in, and would have to adopt something like the so-called death policy, like immediately going for land bills in order to increase the unrest.
How are you feeling, presiding magistrate? Marta Coedia, Rome Consul.
Okay. It seems
I
that
don't see her on
everyone's vote.
camera.
Hello.
She's
Are you muted right now?
no, I hear her.
Can you hear me?
I hear Marka.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
you
The
hear me?
stream. I don't think the stream can hear it. Just talk me through again, Marta. Say again. So talk again for me.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I think
can
I'm the
hear
only. I can also hear her.
Oh,
I
Do you
good.
want me
can-
to speak louder?
It'll me. I'll just rejoin on the video ninja.
Apologies. Okay. So Tiberius as well.
We got.
Tiberius, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good again now. Perfect.
Tiberius, can you hear me? No. Tiberius.
Tiberius, can you hear Marka?
He's resetting as well. There we go.
Oh, okay.
We all just needed a reset, I think. Nice. I need to activate my camera though. There we go. That will bring me back online. Perfect. Okay, I'm back. Tiberius Cornelius, are you back too?
I am, yes. No,
Yeah,
can
good.
see
Right,
Mark?
we've all reset. Okay, sorry. Back to the presiding magistrate, Marta Coedia. Sorry.
Okay. So we've heard that basically there's pros and cons to both options. But it seems that the general consensus is that it's the big risk to leave the Carthaginians. So I believe that we are looking on pushing forward with prosecuting the Carthaginians and providing Scipio with a decent fleet and legions as we can provide.
Did anyone catch that? It was a little bit broken for me.
It was a bit.
Yes,
broken
it
for me
was
too.
also very cutted, or how do you say it?
They're just going to prosecute the Carthaginians.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll try
Actually,
and go on.
speak again for me. I wonder if there was just an internet connection thing at that point. Just gonna message some other people, relay the message. I like your thinking.
Yeah, sorry, I dropped out for a sec. What was the current discussion?
We're just double checking because it was the presiding magistrate's connection was a bit broken.
Hello, is that better on the phone?
Perfect,
Yes.
much better.
Okay,
Yeah.
apologies. So basically, Tiberius, I'm just consulting with you as also the field consul. It seems that there's pros and cons to both of those options, but it seems that there seems to be worry about the risks of not prosecuting the Carthaginian War. That is a bigger risk than the risk of obviously spending a lot of money and still not winning on it. Does that seem to be the consensus that that's the greater risk?
I've heard that argument. I'm not fully sold, but you can never account for all the risks. So either
My
way,
understanding is that the worry is that basically it will become stronger and harder to prosecute.
Well, the good thing is you can put your proposals to a vote and you can see what people think.
Very true.
Oh, that's 78%. That's looking better.
So do you have a proposal for us,
Yeah, I have
Rome
a
Console?
and we are going to vote on it. So I'm going to propose that we prosecute the Carthaginians, and we need to raise.
Can I make things? Just make sure you break these down into separate proposals.
Yeah. Okay, so the first proposal would be just that we're going to prosecute the Carthaginian War, and we would vote on that.
Let's do it the other way around. Let's raise the fleets and legions first.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I'll go back to the sheet. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to raise the fleets. So I think with our calculator, we calculated, where were we? Combat. Was it 16 that we decided we needed in total?
So it was 5 fleets as our minimum.
Yep.
So that's without any support.
Yep.
And the 16 is including the additional 4 we already have.
So would it be 12?
So we'd be raising 12.
Okay, so I'm going to put forward that we raise 12 legions. And was it 5 fleets? Sorry, I missed the first bit.
That is 5 fleets, yeah.
5 fleets, yes. 5 fleets and 12 legions. So I'm going to call for votes.
Just a quick one as well. When you all place your votes, can you still announce them like you would have in the previous game, as well as placing them in the yay or nay section, please, when called upon by the presiding magistrate?
Okay, so I'm going to call on votes from Tiberius Cornelius.
10 votes in favour.
I'm going to call on Appius.
Make sure you announce them too, please, players.
Appius, you're on mute.
Yay.
6 for yay.
Quintus Octavius.
6 votes for yay.
Numerius Aurelius.
4 votes for nay.
And Marcus Decimus.
11 votes for the proposal. I also just want to confirm the Pontius Maximus, it's double only for sending or also raising?
Sending.
Just sending. Okay.
Sending or recalling, in fact.
Sending or recalling. Okay.
Okay, so the proposal is passed.
Very good. So if you want to appoint somebody to raise the requisite legions and fleets and put them in the active forces box. Now let's leave the legions in the active forces box for the moment. Quintus Octavius, that's it. Yep, good. Nice.
How come we've suddenly got heaps of active forces?
Because we've just spent money to raise it.
And
Only
is
on the
somebody
fleet.
updating the state treasury too? Who's
We have to
doing that?
deduct the money, right?
Yep, who's doing that? Looks like Quintus Octavius. It looks like he's going to do the deductions. Very good. Make sure you do your calculation right there. And then Rome Console, you can then do your verification check, make sure the appropriate amount of legions and fleets were raised and the state treasury was deducted accordingly. Very good. I like the little snap feature. It's good, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Perfection.
Oh, we didn't raise to the max with our treasury. Okay.
All good?
We raised, so what was it? It was
We should be down to 22.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I was just like, we raised 5 fleets, right? Yeah.
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 Oh,
yes.
here's a tip too for updating the state treasury so you're not clicking 1,000 times. Hover the mouse over the counter and use the board numbers on your, at the top of your keyboard to enter a new value. Nice. That's much better.
So much quicker.
Much, much quicker. Thank you again, Poached Trout, coming through with the good tips.
Yeah. So consoles, we could probably also now just have a quick discussion if we did want to spend the remainder of our treasury raising more legions. We'd go from the current value of 74%. With another 2 raised, we go to 78.24%. So that's what, about 3.25%. But perhaps every percentage counts. I'll leave that for the Senates to consider.
What are the risks of spending all of our money?
We won't
We
have
already
enough money.
We already have spent all of our money.
Yes. So we got to keep in mind our allied enthusiasm will give us 50 next turn. However, if we do lose all this war as well as not prosecute the other 2 wars in the same case, which we're not going to do at this point, that's 60 talents total that we would need to make sure we still have remaining.
Okay, and that's why we haven't spent all the money.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Now we can afford to raise 1 more troop without an issue, but the effect that will have onto our actual percentage of winnings is not very much to begin with at all.
And, we don't want to give away our retirement funds here. Senators, people.
It's
Please,
still
who am I going to assassinate?
It's still a valid point as to whether or not it's kind of,
The addition of 2.8% is not really worth spending 10 talents this turn.
I would say it would be worth it.
Yeah, that's what I was considering. If the risk of losing is a huge risk, it's a very big risk if we losing a
Our
lot.
main risk is our standoff numbers. That's really all it is.
Again, you can put to a vote and see what people think that way.
Okay. Another thing that might be worth considering for the Senate is we're looking at purely victory as a percentage. Victory is kind of a scale, right? If I can bring the senators' attention up to the combat results table, victory ranges from a 14, which is loss of 4 legions, 4 fleets, up to a possible no losses. So not only is there the scale of do we have a victory or not, but we're also talking about losing essentially 4 or 2 legions, 2 fleets, so a total of 40 talents worth of men for spending only 20 talents.
Yeah, that's
if we go into that range.
Yeah.
But buying now for 10 talents 1 legion will be maybe worth it, because next round we don't know. Maybe we get something like manpower shortage, and then it will be a lot costlier.
1 more legion. Rebel.
Rome Consul, I guess it's your decision and your proposal.
Yeah, I'm going to put forward a vote as to putting whether or not to raise 1 more legion. So I'm going to first hear from votes from.
So let's just clarify that proposal. Your proposal is to raise 1 more legion, not to clarify yay or nay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, just checking.
So I'm going to call for votes from Tiberius Cornelius.
For 1 more legion?
Yeah, for 1 more.
Nay.
Can you announce your number of votes to?
To nay. 10 to nay.
Yay.
Quintus Octavius.
Quintus Octavius?
I'm currently deciding.
Oh, okay.
Come back to me. I'll go around.
No.
Well, you'll forfeit your vote.
Yeah, I'll forfeit my vote. Yep, that's fine.
Oh, he's abstaining. Okay.
Vote.
Make sure you put your abstain token out then for us.
Numerius Aurelius.
That's it.
4 for nay.
And Marcus Decimus.
I'll place my 11 votes for.
Are we missing one? I can only see 4 in the middle.
Waiting for Marco Wedia to cast her own votes.
No, I think I'm going to.
All right, I think that's it. Everyone's voted. 1 abstain. That passes. So 1 more legion comes out. I see that Marcus Decimus is on it, and it's going to be deducted from the state treasury down to 12. All right, it's quite a sizable force in the active forces box now. Very good. All right. What's next, Rome console? You can hear us, Rome console, Mark Orwedia?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was on mute. So where are we up to?
So if you look at your cheat sheet, you can see some of your other options there, but I guess you're considering sending somebody off to war now that you've got your forces ready.
Yep. So we're going to send the Rome field console off to war. So Scipio.
I guess just to clarify your proposal, you're saying your proposal is to send Scipio Africanus to
prosecute the Carthaginian War
by himself.
Yeah, you might as well give the forces to be.
So with all the forces, right?
With all the forces, correct? Yes.
Good to be specific. Thank you.
I'm 10 in favour.
Hang on, has the Rome console call for you yet?
Yep. Could I get votes from Tiberius
Good.
Cornelius? Yep. Now from Appius.
Appius Rufius.
Yeah, it seems to be an issue here again with my.
Okay. I'll grab it for you. Yep, that's a lag
Can
issue,
you-
not a problem.
Yeah, to yay.
Good.
Quintus.
Another abstain.
I shall be abstaining.
Numerius Aurelius.
Sorry, 4 in the votes for me.
Anti-brigade, I love it.
And Marcus Decimus.
I'll place my 14 votes for the proposal.
Okay, so we are going to war. We're going to try and prosecute.
All righty. So we now see Scipio Africanus is away, and I'm going to grab our classic tokens that we normally do. I'm going to do this old-fashioned way, pull our little military commander out like we normally do.
It's so satisfying just having them all dragged like that.
It's good, isn't it? Here he is. All right. Nice. Let's get him with his forces over here. Excellent. And his military. Love it. All right. Put all these dudes back a little bit better. That's clean. Nice. All right. Now we're still in the Senate phase at the moment because we've only sent the field console away. So it's still your Senate floor there, presiding magistrate. Considering other proposals, perhaps? Yes, of course, there's all sorts of minor proposals that you may or may not want to consider as well, but they're not compulsory.
I don't think there's anything. I'm just going through it. We're not doing land bills. We've got no money.
The land bills is up to you, of course.
There is some minor proposals in the forum up above the land bills table. Minor Senate proposal considerations.
Okay, where are we? Sorry, I'm going.
I'll click tab. Yes, is that what it was? Tab? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
As you can see all of the current minor proposals in force. I guess we can show the crowd at home. This is everything that the players voted on prior to the game start.
So use the hybrid aging rule, money markers, hidden faction plenary, away from Rome, and the Senate should use physical markers.
which is a good point about the away from Rome marker. Now that we know that Scipio Africanus is in fact away from Rome, for you, Tiberius Cornelius, make sure you update your vote marker too to deduct the Scipio votes for the remainder of the Senate phase, if you'd care to do that.
Sure. Just
So
five, right?
minus his oratory and knighthood, so it's only 5, so you're down to 5 there. Very good.
Or something like minor things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate a
Hello.
scribe. Can you hear me? Or make a suggestion.
Yeah, you can make
Yes,
suggestions.
I think it would be a good idea to nominate a scribe. So I'm going to put forward a vote for Octavius to be scribe.
So your plan is for
Sorry, who was?
Please get.
Sorry, who? Sorry, is that a senator or you mean Quintus Octavius?
just resetting. Give her a moment to reset.
Is there?
There we go.
No, sorry, I just wanted to.
Quintus Octavius.
Okay, sorry. Yep. Just wanted to clarify what you
Yeah.
meant.
Quintus Octavius.
I think
yeah,
we should hear
so-
Tiberius's suggestion first.
I applaud the leadership being showed by the Rome consul. I think it's a wonderful suggestion.
Oh, why? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to put that forward to the Senate, and I
Can I just make a point of interest?
Yep.
So the appointment of a scribe.
Yep.
What's the scribe going to do? You should probably talk about what that role is first.
So the scribe is going to
If I just
some
describe what I
notes.
did last year, it might help. So I
Yes.
recorded what each motion was, who nominated it, so the consul or whomever the presiding manager was, and then also the vote tallies. That was it. It was pretty straightforward.
Good. If you guys would like that, certainly can have that, and then I guess you can update that in the Facebook group for all your records.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put this to vote. So I'm going to call for votes from Tiberius Cornelius.
5 in favour.
I'm going to call for votes from Appius. I'm gonna
6
call
in
for
favor.
votes from Quintus.
Yeah, this is going to be 6 nay.
Okay. Numerius Aurelius.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was on mute. Guess 4 in favour.
And
Bit of hard work to do you some good.
I'll abstain from this vote.
All right.
well, maybe he'll be good at it. He's good at things. So
Yeah, we'll find out.
And you still haven't voted, Michael.
there we go. I think it's a good idea. Okay. So the motion is passed.
All right, very good.
Scribe, you
Somebody
want to write that down?
update that on the
Round of
minor
applause for the new
proposals
scribe.
notepad as well.
Yeah, we're going.
Now, should we also maybe have another minor proposal about a consequence if the scribe doesn't do their job properly?
Yeah, I think it should be forfeited to Tiberius Cornelius, who thinks it's easy to do.
Well, let's see if the consul nominate puts that forward.
So, make sure somebody types the minor proposal into the sheet up the top too, so it's not forgotten about.
Ooh, not me.
No, not text. It's just a click.
No.
So if you click in the text area, the actual text itself on that right-hand side, no, just with a cursor, not with the text button. You need to go click your hand symbol again on the left-hand side. That's it. Go click in the text box area further up. Can you can't adjust it? Maybe it's a permission issue. It's all right, I'll do it. So minor proposal 6 is Q Octavius is scriber appointment. Why did all my letters go weird? Need an I. There we go. Quintus Octavius, put a U in, is appointed scriber and shall take note of all proposals and publish. All right, note taken. I'm just going to state and put it out there, ladies and gents, as we're now just past 10 p.m. on the east coast of Australia, might I suggest that when we conclude the Senate phase today, that may conclude our session for the day? Is everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good finish, and then we can crack on with the combat phase next week. So, by all means, if you need to drag out or make your Senate session a little bit longer, you can, noting that we will finish at the end of the Senate session today. Keep the exciting war ready for next week.
Stay tuned.
All right, so that minor proposal's in and is done, and we've got our scriber now officially taking notes on all proposals here forth, I guess. Right, anything else from you, Rome Console? I guess it's still your Senate. Do we still have her connected? Hello, Mark Aurelius. Can anybody? Oh, she's going to reset. Very good. Cue theme music. And she's back, is she?
Sorry.
Hopefully.
I couldn't hear you.
No. Yes. No. Yes. No.
Yeah.
I hear her.
Oh, okay. I'll do a reconnect as well. All right, I'm coming back online as well. Okay, good. I can see Mark Whittier again. All right, sorry, that was a me problem probably. All right. All right, over to you, Mark Whittier. I still can't hear her. Can anyone else hear her?
I can no longer hear her.
Okay.
I can't hear her.
Okay.
I can't hear her. Oh, she looks like she's back. You there, Marco?
I think she's still playing.
Yeah, maybe if maybe she'll do a reconnect again. Yeah, that's good. That's okay. Actually, we need some Roman theme music. I've been looking for Roman theme music online, but all of it's copyright, so I can't play it on stream, which is disappointing.
Surely the copyright's worn off in the last 2,000 years.
I see your point. However, it's new modern renditions people have done, and they fortunately hold a copyright on it. Perhaps if I can find an artist or something that's willing to share their Roman themed music that we can play in stream, that would be good. So if you're watching this right now and you're willing to share your Roman themed music live on Twitch, we'd be most grateful, because we could play some hip hop or boot scooted or something, but it's not quite in theme, is it?
The copyright free selections.
I think smooth jazz is usually the running gag.
Yeah. Mark Whittier, have we got you back?
Yes,
Perfect.
I think we're coming to the conclusion of the Senate phase.
Yep.
So basically, you wanted to say thank you to Octavius for being the scribe. Quintus. It's much appreciated. And also wanting to say thank you, everyone, for a good first session, and very excited to hope that the roles go well.
Perfect. I like that. And now if you want to officially make the announcement, if you're planning to close the Senate session now, make that announcement.
I'd like to officially close the Senate session, and we'll see everybody next week.
Perfect. I like that. That's a good finish there. Excellent. Rightio. Well, for those watching the stream, that will conclude our session today, but I will do my end of session summary like I always do. I know some people appreciate the recap. So give us a moment. We'll do a transition. I'll say goodbye to my senators in the background, and then I'll be right back to talk to you all on stream or on YouTube if you're watching this in the future. So we'll be back very soon. Don't go away. Stand by. So bye, everybody. Senators, say walete.
Walete.
But we are back. We can do our summary. We've got audio. We've got visual. All right, awesome. A couple of technical difficulties, but that's all right. We're able to get through the internet. Right, there we go. We're at the end of session 1 of our Republic of Rome board game broadcast. Let's recap what we saw tonight. yeah, action-packed. And I tell you what, lots of discussion straight away, lots of opinions on how they should approach those wars. So if we, if I have a look and consider the wars that I had on the board there, so they pulled 3 out. Now, of course, they start with the First Punic Wars in the inactive wars box there, and that wasn't going to necessarily play a role, I guess, until we saw the enemy leader come out there. So Hamilcar, that's right, which adds +3. Not a big burden, I think, for the side, but nonetheless, it activated that First Punic War, so that was something they're going to have to think about. But then, of course, during their initiative steps, they drew the Syrian War and the Second Illyrian War as well. Again, low-strength wars, but things for them to think about. But right, as Poach Trout is saying there in chat, it was a great first session. I tell you what, when it came to the appointment of the dictator, when we eventually got there, that is, there was lots of discussion from the Senate prior about the wars and how they're going to fight the wars. So they're all thinking quite collectively about whether it was beneficial or not to bring a dictator in or not. And in the end, the consuls agreed that having a dictator was the way to go, but in great fashion. And this is why we all love Quintus Octavius. He's come out dagger first and very uniquely timed as well. So he waited for the confirmation of the dictator appointment, and certainly Appius Rufius was there waiting, assigning for that confirmation as well. And just as the dictator was appointed, Stabby McStab comes in with a perfect, I think it was a clean stab too, I think. It was a very clean 6, very clean assassination, and the dictator was taken away from us straight after his appointment, which therefore meant there was no Master of Horse appointed either. So therefore the presiding magistrate in the wars fell back to the consuls again for consideration. And poor Numerius Aurelius losing a senator in the first round. I mean, for those that watched the session last year, you'll recall that Numerius Aurelius spent much of the game with less senators than everyone else, and I think at one point only having 1 senator. And he's not in a good way already, having lost one. I don't know whether it's because of that. We saw him voting against a lot of the proposals post that point in the Senate. Does he hold a grudge? Maybe, maybe not. But, he'll have some deep thinking to do going forwards about how he's going to manage his game, now only having 2 senators. Quintus Octavius has certainly made a name for himself again as the lead and successful assassin too, might I add. So, yes, assassination is fashionable, at least in the Roman Republic era. So they've raised the Senate's raised a large force there. So we finished at the end of the Senate phase, and so we'll enter into the combat phase of turn 1. When we return next week, we'll see them take on the First Punic War with Cornelius Scipio Africanus with quite a large force. And I can't remember their percentage of victory in the end there, but it was pretty good, comfortable enough, provided they don't hit one of those danger numbers on the enemy leader. There we go. So about 76% chance of victory. There we go. So, and we note that Scipio Africanus does nullify the disasters of the First Punic War card, but not on the enemy leader. So 8 and 12 will be their danger numbers when they take on in that combat phase going forwards. Interesting. Certainly an interesting first round. Very, very exciting. Lots of discussion there, as we saw. Good to see the players thinking about what they're going to vote on, running the percentages, running the numbers, and I guess that's what ends up drawing this game out for such a long period of time is those hearty discussions that occur. And I'm pleased to see the players really getting into it and considering their options, both in terms of a military strategy, but then also politically. I mean, there's certainly lots of discussion about the viability of even appointing a dictator when it could just end up going back to Scipio, noting his nullification special abilities there, and therefore you've appointed a dictator without using him. So certainly many of the factions considering that as well. First impressions of, the live game in the module for Tabletop Simulator here. Love it. It's just so much cleaner, so much smoother, zooming in, zooming out. Being able to magnify rapidly on a whim is fantastic. I think all the players found it far easier to use than Roll20. Picking up, moving tokens around, the fact that they can alternate the layering of their tokens on their own as well. Because we learned a couple of different tricks from Poach Trout again there, which is great. I mean, he knows all about it, of course. some of the tricks about, updating the state treasury, for example, and typing. It's just utterly fantastic. So if you're looking for this, it is on the workshop for Tabletop Simulator, the base module here. It won't have all the features that we've got in our game, but it'll have 80-90% of all the core stuff that you're looking for. So it's called Custom Republic of Rome module, I think, or Custom Republic of Rome, and it pretty much has a slightly different picture from all the default board titles that you see. I think there's about 6 or 7 modules for Republic of Rome on the Steam Workshop. This one's called Custom Republic of Rome. There's about 3. I think there's 3 authors on there. But yeah, you can download this module yourself and play around with it for those that are interested. Well, anyway, I think that does our recap. We'll certainly consider how we go once we finish the end of turn 1 at the end of the resolution phase next week. But then, of course, we'll roll into the turn 2 as we continue on. And we'll see how far we get next week. But I'm really excited, really happy with how tonight went. So pleased we got all 6 players back. Initially planning, looking like we weren't going to get all 6 players, but we did in the end, thanks to Quintus Octavius and Appius Rufius, who are my last 2 players that decided to join. So brilliant to have them on board to make the full suite of 6. Thanks again to those that subbed in there as well, or followed during the course of the live stream. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for subscribing and liking the video as well. Please drop your comments in chat. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we made an error. Perhaps you can point that out for us and we can correct that going forwards into next week. But thank you very much for watching. It certainly makes it a greater experience when there are people watching and enjoying this, either for the Roman aspects, the historical aspects, or simply just for the board game. It all makes it really fun. I certainly have a good time. But that will conclude us now. I am Decimus Aurelius. You've been watching the Nova Roma Twitch channel, or better yet, this video on the Australian Nova Romana channel on YouTube in the future. It's been an absolute blast. And until next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 11:30 a.m. Rome time, we will hopefully see you again then. Until next time, Walete.